What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, I haven't made any updates in the past 2 days, but if you did watch my previous video, Bitcoin is literally playing out exactly as we anticipated. Look at this, guys. We got this nice bottom formation right here. I told you guys we were expecting the move up, and check this out. We came up, came back down, retested the heart line right here as support, and currently we did run into the top resistance again. So this is really a very, very tradable opportunity for Bitcoin. If you guys are taking advantage of this, this is really cool times, and it does look, in fact, like we could be forming a bottom. Now, that is what everyone's been talking about. Currently, as of right now, the price, if you look at where we closed on CME futures on Friday, that was around $21,190. So I'm not really anticipating too much of a major move until Monday. But that being said, could we be looking for that massive reversal, even getting Bitcoin back up to this $28,000, $29,000 area right here in this blue zone where we had the CME futures gap? It is a possibility, and I do want to talk about why the Fed could actually be looking to pivot away, and it is actually kind of crazy. It doesn't really have anything to do with what's going on in the US. It actually has to do with Europe and Japan, and could they end up turning that money printer on again? That's what I want to talk about. Now, you might have heard that Russia did in fact ban crypto payments, and they are a little bit concerned about what could be happening in the US. Well, SEC Gary Gensler has come out and clarified his stance on that, but something that is a little bit scary right now is these leaked emails that came out from Coinbase, and could Coinbase be the next exchange to actually go bankrupt? Well, what would that mean? Well, it'd be pretty bad probably for the space. We're going to talk about that. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. Now, hopping in and having a look over here, obviously, as I said, I don't expect too much price action for Bitcoin, but the thing is we actually have had fear and greed in extreme fear for over 70 days, and you could see that this absolutely trumps what we had right here in January of 2019 and also right here in mid-2020. So we knew that we were certainly due for a bounce. Now, Rect Capital points out that the new weekly close shows that we did have a lower high, so this could maybe, spoil the news of the potential bottom, and maybe this means that we're going to go down lower. It is a possibility. But really, if you really look at what's going on right here, guys, we've had this parallel channel in here for quite some time, and you can see that, yes, sometimes we do go below it, and occasionally we do kind of go above it, but for the most part, Bitcoin is essentially trading in a downwards trend. We are trending downwards, unfortunately, but if you do look at this heart line right here in the center, you will notice that, there was some support right here, right here. We even wicked down during the Luna crash. Well, currently, if I zoom in, that's actually what's holding us down. So guys, essentially, if Bitcoin can get above $22,000, the next target is pretty much up here around 24,300. So if we do have that breakout move, that's another 10% right there for Bitcoin. And I would definitely be taking that trade if we got the confirmation on the breakout. And honestly, guys, after that, the next level would be $30,000 for Bitcoin. So if you guys are interested in learning how to trade, I would definitely take that trade over on BitGet with me. And if you are interested, check out the tutorial popping up above. There's over $4,000 in bonuses. 20 seconds to sign up. I would jump on that and take advantage of it. But having a look right here, here's the really exciting part, okay? So not only do we usually find these bottoms on the 89 on the EMA ribbon, but also if we look right here on this 50, which is this green line, you could see that we are in fact attempting on the monthly to break above this. And if we can close this month, we still have basically half the month left. If we can close this month above $21,600, which we are very, very close to that level, guys, that would be amazing for Bitcoin, because we know that once we do get back above this 50, we usually have that bottom. Obviously, the best case scenario would be to get back inside the EMA ribbon. That's sitting roughly at around 24,500, but it's absolutely possible, like Trader Tardigrade pointed out, you have crossovers of the stochastic fast and slow lines in oversold zones, indicating all these Bitcoin bottoms. Now look at this. We haven't had the cross just yet, but we have about 10 days left to go until we could have that potential cross. So the stars could ultimately be aligning for Bitcoin right now, and the monthly candle is going to probably tell us everything that we need to know. Not to mention the fact that we did have the pi cycle bottom indicators come in, and you can see right here the significance of getting above this $22,000 level. You can see right here, we are in fact putting in, what looks like an ascending triangle. And if we can break this trend right here, you see how we don't have 3 points, we have 2 points of contact. But ultimately, is it possible that Bitcoin bounces around in this range, all the way through August? Sure, it's possible. We could be forming a giant ascending triangle, and, we could be doing this for the rest of the year. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that would be the ultimate bore all the retail traders to death kind of move, right? But we did see that we did have the Bitcoin miners capitulating. Now, I do want to because I want to offer both sides of the coin, pun intended, right? I don't want to only be bullish and only be bearish. But recently, yes, I was more bullish when everyone was getting extremely bearish. And look what happened, guys. I mean, from bottom to top, just pointing out here, down here at this wick when we got this $18,000 level, currently Bitcoin is up 25% from the bottom, right? So it wasn't the time to be bearish, right? It was actually the time to start taking the contrarian view and getting bullish. But unfortunately, according to CryptoQuant's data, miners have been offloading Bitcoin. In fact, they've offloaded the largest amount since January of last year. So consequently, the selling pressure caused by the capitulation event could push the price even lower in the short term, dropping Bitcoin below that $20,000 level. Now, the thing is miners capitulating is not necessarily the greatest thing short term. We did get the capitulation that I showed you guys. I think I was one of the first people to actually talk about it. And we did say that, look, when you get these capitulation signals, you usually have between 1 month and 3 months until you really start to get that recovery, right? So, considering that we did have that signal flash essentially a month ago, right? It was on June 13th, then we're really only 1 month into it. So we could still have 2 more months. And that's why I said, I believe that the bottom is either in or extremely close, as in, I think within the next 2 months, we will have that absolute bottom if we haven't had it already. And beyond that, I don't see price going any lower. After that 3-month period, going in towards the end of Q4, I think we're done, guys. I think whatever's going to happen is going to happen, maybe within the next 2 months, but at most by the end of this year. I think Q4 into Q1, we're going to see some kind of a transition. Now, there is the possibility of this Wyckoff accumulation. And, as Yuri pointed out, maybe we do just range, possibly, going into the end of the year. That is a possibility. I'm not going to say that that's not the case. I don't specifically really use a lot of Wyckoff. I don't really look at it because really it's very sort of subjective. You know what I mean? Like it kind of, people just say like, oh, we're starting to form Wyckoff, but really like you can have 3 points or 4 points and, anyway, but I digress from the Wyckoff. But talking about, what Udi pointed out, a lot of people feeling pretty bearish, but you have to really look at what's been happening recently. He says, you guys all have severe recency bias. In the last 2 years, we onboarded institutions, became a cultural phenomenon, got Tim Cook to become a Bitcoiner, made nation states FOMO in, etc. None of this was remotely imaginable in 2019. And I have to say, living through that time, I would have never thought that could possibly happen. And I also never thought that we would see Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, actually coming around and saying I was wrong.
At the beginning, you were kind of hostile to the cryptocurrency sector, but then you changed your position. When did you change your position, and why did you have this change of heart?
So it wasn't an epiphany in one moment, but I think the interesting thing is, the way you phrased that was very fair, but sometimes people will be like, I can't believe you were once negative. I'm like, did you ever hear of changing your mind on new information? I mean, like, living an empowered life is based on, like, seeing what's going on around you, seeing what's working, seeing what's not, seeing what things change, and then constantly adapting and growing, right? At the time that I really hated crypto, I stand by everything I said about crypto in 2017, except for one thing. I was wrong about Bitcoin going to zero.
We all want to hedge against inflation. Would you back gold or would you back Bitcoin?
I think the issue right now is you have to look at Bitcoin and not take a 12-month or 24-month horizon. With reasonable luck, I think if you take a 24-month horizon, you'll almost certainly make money. Maybe not. But I think if you take a 3, 4, 5-year horizon, I would be shocked if you didn't make money, because the underlying fundamentals, I believe, are really strong. There's a limited supply, and as inflation does keep going and going and going, at some point in time, there'll be enough maturity with Bitcoin where it starts to trade more like a store of value and less like a growth stock.
If I'm an investor and I'm a crypto investor, retail, and I want to do a long-term play, number one, what do you think?
Bitcoin.
Number two,
Ethereum.
number three,
Bitcoin.
But getting back to the situation at hand, like Bitcoin Hodl pointed out, they printed trillions, handed out $1,400 stimmy checks, sent the rest to their friends, and left you with 9.1% inflation. Great for some, very painful for you. That's the fiat system. Bitcoin fixes this. Now, if we have a look at what I was talking about, was the DXY has been on a bull run. You can't deny that, right? I mean, we were down here at around 70. And like I pointed out, the 110 level is very historically strong resistance for the DXY. I mean, you could see 1, 2, 3, and then you have these little, actually, if you want to count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I mean, all of these points in here, very, very critical. And you can see most of the time, it tends to stay below this area, right? We only have this freak moment right here, which was essentially when in 1981, which we spoke about. And then this area, this was, from 2000 to 2002. And that's basically it, guys. And we are in that area right now. And look at that. You can already see we've pulled down from 109 to 107. So if we do see rejection from this area, then I do believe that you are going to see the Fed take that potential pivot, which could be happening soon, right? Because we don't want to go into the, debt spiral that I spoke about. Shout out to Happy Hawaiian for pointing that out. But something even more interesting, and this is what the former CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, has been talking about. He is expecting Bitcoin to bottom out and quickly recover, as he is predicting that the Federal Reserve will once again inject trillions of dollars into the financial system. So he had a new blog post, and he expanded on his thesis by highlighting how both Japan and the European Union are engaged in yield curve control, or YCC. So according to him, YCC is essentially the act of expanding monetary supply to purchase government bonds and reduce yields in an effort to weaken the nation's fiat currency. Now, it's very confusing, and it would seem counterproductive for a nation to want to weaken their currency. Look up how it works. It's crazy. So usually Japan and the EU are happy to have weak yen and euro versus the rest of the developed world. It allows their export industries to gain market share, and their goods are cheaper versus other countries. However, this time it is different, as surging inflation has made it challenging for the citizens of Japan and the EU to afford everyday expenses. Hayes says if America is determined to defeat Russia through economic sanctions, then the US must actually find a way to weaken the dollar against, the yen and the euro. And should the U.S. switch the monetary printers back on to support their allies, Hayes says the increase in liquidity will eventually find its way back into Bitcoin and the crypto markets, right? Because we know that people have learned a lot about their fiat system, and they would rather hold something like Bitcoin, which will eventually evolve into a risk off, right? A hedge against inflation. And I wanted to also talk about something interesting. We actually saw Bitcoin exchange outflow volume reaching a 1-month low. So this is kind of interesting. So we're seeing not as many coins getting taken off of the exchanges. So does this mean that they are looking to sell into the FOMO and this is just more exit liquidity? Well, one thing that they're freaking out about, it's kind of some rumors going on in the space, is that Coinbase could be seeing a liquidity crisis. So there were some leaked emails that came out that were talking about them shutting down their affiliate program, right? Now, you did have Dan Held saying, no, Coinbase doesn't have a liquidity crisis because they shut down their affiliate program. And then you have this guy, NJ, saying, as the guy that literally set up the affiliate program in 2019, shutting it down has nothing to do with liquidity. All right, fair enough. But if we do look at some of this data, between July 15th and 16th, around 50% of stablecoins amounting to approximately 250 million on Coinbase Pro left the exchange, which is weird considering I just told you that exchange withdrawals are at the lowest we've seen, but yet Coinbase had 50% of the stablecoins removed. Now, on the contrary, only 1%, was leaving Binance. 50% on Coinbase, 1% on Binance. What's going on, guys? Scrolling down here, looking at some more data. In addition to this, the Bitcoin held on each exchange also was drastically different. Coinbase saw a steady decline in Bitcoin in its reserves, while Binance saw an incline during the same period. Very, very strange. So are people worrying a little bit about what could happen to Coinbase? Well, personally, guys, if you ask me, I'm not a fan of Coinbase. I think they have terrible customer service, and I wouldn't care if they did go bankrupt. In fact, this is the message that I get when I try to actually use my Coinbase. We're reviewing your account. Your account was recently flagged for a manual review. Until the review is completed, you won't be able to buy or sell crypto. There's nothing to be alarmed if you have funds on. They're safe given the large volume of requests. Please be patient as we conduct this review. This has been on my account now for about 3 months, and there's no way to contact anyone, no way to, they ask for documents, you send them the documents, and then they just send you back a letter basically saying, resubmit the documents. Well, what was wrong with the documents? No answer, no idea. So, you know what, guys, at this point, I don't really care about Coinbase. There's lots of other options out there, but unfortunately, because Coinbase is, in fact, arguably the largest in the US, if something was to happen, it probably would affect the price. It would freak people out. A lot of people still don't understand the difference between Coinbase and the Bitcoin network. And if Coinbase went under, they would assume that Bitcoin was attacked because people just don't understand that Coinbase is just a custody solution, right? It's a bot that, you can buy and sell. It's a gateway. They charge you a percentage. You can put your Bitcoin on cold storage, which I highly recommend, by the way. Get your coins off the exchange if they're, if you're not trading. There's no reason for them to actually be there. But yeah, that could be a bit of an issue. We also had Russia implementing a new law that has banned crypto payments in the country. So they're saying that this move may rip off the proverbial bandage of the crypto market, which has been trying to recover after a major sell-off this year. But they say the new law is a step back for crypto adoption. However, during a recent Yahoo Finance interview, SEC Chair Gary Gensler says that the U.S. is actually willing to accommodate crypto companies. However, they want to ensure that they operate within a clearly defined, through clearly defined laws, right, as part of their effort to protect the people. The most notable part of the interview is that Gensler confirmed that the SEC plans to exempt the crypto market from some securities regulations. Not bad. The SEC noted that the exemption aims to encourage crypto companies to pursue regulatory compliance. However, the jury is still out on the SEC's intentions. Some critics believe that the SEC has been inconsistent when it comes to regulations, but nevertheless, they're not looking to ban it or anything like that, right? So it's actually looking a lot more positive over here in the US. And also, just talking about countries and Bitcoin, so Andorra, which is apparently a tiny European country nestled between France and Spain, I've never heard of this country, but they've recently approved a Digital Assets Act, which would create a regulatory framework for currencies and blockchain technology. So it's split into two parts. The first regards the creation of digital money or programmable digital sovereign money, and the second refers to digital assets as a financial instrument and intends to create an environment which blockchain and distributed ledger technologies can be regulated. The outcome they're trying to achieve is to actually attract new businesses to locate in the country by offering some legal clarification, making it easier and more transparent. They see this as a way to attract talents and entrepreneurs to the new economy. Now, getting back to the whole securities thing, you may have seen that recently on Altcoin Daily, there was an interview with Charles Hoskinson, and then Michael Saylor had come out and said that Cardano is a security. And I just wanted to play you this clip from this video. This is actually what he had to say, and I'm just letting you guys know there is some bad language. So if there's kids around, earmuff time.
What are your thoughts on Saylor claiming Cardano as a security? Well, Mike Saylor is the Tone Vase of this cycle of, him and Jimmy Song of this cycle of crypto. So back in the day, we had Tone, and Tone was this podcast. He's still around, and I like Tone, but he had this thing. It's like everything's a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. Oh, it's a scam. Oh my God, it's a scam. Everybody's scamming. He even had this thing called the Scammies. It was his awards ceremony, the Scammies. So now we got Mike Saylor. He's like, Bitcoin is the way. Again, it doesn't do anything for RealFi. I can't build a decentralized power grid. I can't build a centralized telecommunications company. I can't build decentralized compute. I have no identity solution. It's not programmable, so I don't have dApps and DeFi. I can't even issue an asset, so I have no NFTs, right? It's all outside of that. But don't worry, layer 2 protocols that are highly centralized will somehow solve all of this. Great. So that's great. It's the best thing ever, and it's so magical, and who cares about the mining and all this? Everything else is scam, and everything else is security. Nobody controls it. It's completely decentralized, far more than Bitcoin. Has more use and utility. People buy the token not to speculate, which is the only thing they can do with Bitcoin. They buy the token to use it for stuff, I don't know, medical records and whatever the hell else they're doing, because it is real life utility. But that's a security. But the thing that only thing you can do is speculate on is not. I think Mike's head is all fucked up and screwed up. It's just one of those cases where he's dick deep, full dick in with Bitcoin. And so, it's got to work. If it doesn't work the way he hopes, he goes bankrupt. So I don't pay much attention to it. And I don't think it's a productive conversation at all. And frankly, the most difficult, toxic, and useless people to engage with are Bitcoin maximalists. They're not intellectually honest, like Jimmy Song saying that at any given time, proof of stake system, somebody can just arbitrarily take all your money and shut it down. It's not honest. It's just libel. It's not true. The protocols don't do that. And they feel they have no burden of proof and evidence of the statements that they make. And then they say the only thing that matters is their thing, even though their thing doesn't do anything. Just stores value. Okay.
So let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, I see where he's coming from, and honestly, that's why I've never truly taken the stance of a Bitcoin maximalist. I do believe that there are use cases for other cryptocurrencies out there. Personally, though, I just think that Bitcoin is the safest bet. It's been around the longest. We know what it does. It only really does one thing, and it does that one thing very, very well, which is why, the majority of my crypto is in Bitcoin. Actually, at this point, it's like 90% Bitcoin and 10% altcoins. Some of it not by choice. Some altcoins didn't perform that well. Some of it actually by choice. But nevertheless, let me know what you guys think about the argument with Bitcoin and these other things. But, for the most part, guys, we're still just, bouncing around, essentially forming this pattern, this ascending triangle. I am still expecting the breakout. Once again, if you guys do want to trade, check out BitGet. And there are other opportunities below as well. You can also get up to 3,000 USDT if you do have a friend. You can refer them, check it out. But if you guys want the $4,000 bonus, you do have to use the link below in the description for that exclusively. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. Pleasure to see you guys. I am expecting Monday to be quite exciting for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And if you are looking to trade, make sure you watch these videos popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.